location. We don't have a current medical condition on the victims that were tied up at the house, but from what we understand, they were tied up and left in the home. The vehicle was taken, and then the police pursuit began from there. So far, we don't have the information on exactly how they were able to locate this particular cabin, but nevertheless, we're being told right now that one of the folks actually were able to escape and did call police and notify the police of their location. We will tell you they have had a large police presence out there since the initial shooting happened. Of course, this stretched from Los Angeles out to the Riverside area and also south into the San Diego community as well here, and has lasted for the last week. Over the weekend, police upped the ante, so to speak, by adding a $1 million bounty basically on the capture and arrest of Christopher Dorner to turn up the heat there a little bit to try to locate him. And obviously, police are saying they had trouble finding him because of the location where he is. It's an isolated location away from the resort city. Police had largely focused their search on Big Bear City, and this location where they found this particular cabin at is quite a ways away from it. As you can see here on the Angela Spokes area is where I'm hearing the location of the Angela Spokes area here is what we're hearing the cabin was. As you can see, the ground is snow covered. If you remember the coverage last week when the shooting took place, the snowstorm came in the day after the shooting and really hampered the search efforts there, but obviously slowed Christopher Dorner down. We also remember last week that axle broke on the pickup truck that he was suspected of driving throughout this entire shooting incident, from the shooting of the LA police officer's daughter and her fiance, to the point where he is now in Big Bear. The truck was found a few days after, burnt up there in the area with a broken axle, and so LA County Sheriffs largely focused their search on this part of the San Bernardino Mountains due to the fact that the truck was broken with a broken axle and burnt up. Of course, they were able to recover some weapons from that vehicle, but they do believe obviously that he is armed and have been in a shootout here with him during the last half hour. Of course, we are looking at live images from the San Bernardino County Mountains right now. This area, we're not exactly sure the exact location, but we know it's in the vicinity of the Big Bear City area. The cabin where the actual couple was taken hostage, basically, essentially, and tied up is 20 miles outside of Big Bear City. So for the last several days, up to last week, really, the police have been searching frantically for Dorner, who was accused of shooting several police officers in the Riverside County area and also shooting the couple there in the Los Angeles area here, actually kicking off his rampage here about a week ago. The search has been on through the mountains. The LA County Sheriffs have dispersed a lot of manpower there into the mountains to try to locate him, but with that heavy snowstorm, it was a bit difficult to find him. They have since located him and identified the fact that he initially tied up a couple in a cabin that was in an isolated area about 20 miles outside of Big Bear City and stole their vehicle and is currently on the run here. Just to recap things for you, 2 deputies have been hit by gunfire within the last hour. They are still out in the wilderness. No medical attention has been given to them, and the hunt for Christopher Dorner continues through the San Bernardino County Mountains. And of course, we will have more information as it comes in to you. We're live here at Eyewitness News. Stay with us. Continuing coverage coming this afternoon.
This is KVAK Eyewitness News. Now, breaking news.
Good afternoon. I'm Anthony Bailey here in the Eyewitness Studios. We continue our coverage here on a breaking news alert out of the Los Angeles County area. We're going to take you over to live pictures there. Earlier this afternoon, shortly after 1 o'clock, Christopher Dorner, the ex-Los Angeles cop that was accused of multiple shootings about a week ago, had been located and was involved in a breakout gunfire there with both the Los Angeles County and the San Bernardino County sheriffs there. We're looking at the area over Big Bear. Snow-covered mountains, obviously a fairly big snowstorm moved into the area last week, and Dorner had been held up there since the initial shootings he committed, which included the former supervisor's daughter and her fiance that were shot, as well as several police officers there in San Bernardino County. Here's what's happened so far today. Around 1:30, the shootout broke out as Dorner was located. Reports are that he was located by a fish and game expert in the area who was doing door-to-door searches in the area. Dorner is accused of having kidnapped or committing a home invasion inside, tying up 2 residents there and stealing what's been described as a white Dodge pickup truck. Now, one of those 2 residents was able to escape the ties that Dorner put on them and phoned police of his location. The search was underway, and once the deputies were able to locate him, a huge firefight broke out. Our CBS affiliate there in Los Angeles actually had audio of that particular breakout. You can hear dozens of shots being fired there. 2 deputies from the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department, we understand, were hit and wounded in the area. So far in the last hour, those deputies have not been able to receive medical attention. Once again, they have not received medical attention. So as of 1:30, we're going on 2:38 right now. So about an hour, those 2 deputies are still out in the wilderness wounded. We are getting reports that they potentially may have an airlifted vehicle on the way in, and it may have been able to extricate those folks out and have medical services. But there was a good solid hour, a half hour to 45 minutes before they could be retrieved. Here's what we know about Dorner so far. Following that shootout, he drove that white Dodge pickup truck just a few miles away from where that shootout happened. And from reports we are getting out of CBS in LA, we understand he ran that truck into a gully, crashing it. He then hopped out of the truck and ran into a nearby cabin where he has been held up here for about the last 40 minutes. That got into the cabin there shortly before 2 o'clock from what we understand there, and has been held up. Now, since then, deputies have been able to surround that cabin. They have eyes on all sides of it. There are reports of deputies in and around the area with semi-automatic rifles trained on that location. And shortly before 2:30, we got reports there that there were some shots still being fired in that area around 2:22. So far, no new injuries have been reported. No additional deputies have been reported wounded. Only the initial 2 that were shot in that initial shootout there. Of course, we will be continuing to find it. We're getting reports right now that those 2 are, in fact, being airlifted out of the area, which is great news because, folks, that shooting happened at 1:30, so they were out there in the snow-covered mountains for a solid hour with no medical attention. Now, we don't have an update about where their wounds were or how severe those wounds were to their bodies, only that those 2 deputies had been shot and were basically stuck in the frozen wilderness. Of course, we will continue to follow up this 2 deputy shot that now have been retrieved in the San Bernardino Mountains. Stay with us for continuing coverage. We'll have live streaming going on. You can find that at bakersfieldnow.com. And of course, we will be back here with continuing coverage tonight at 5 o'clock.
This is KVAK Eyewitness News. Now, breaking news.
Good afternoon. I'm Anthony Bailey here in the Eyewitness News studio. We want to bring you continuing coverage, another update here on the latest for the hunt for Christopher Dorner. I want to take you to a press conference going on right now, the San Bernardino Sheriff's deputy there. Actually, we're taking a live pick over the San Bernardino Mountains. Here's the latest update. Obviously, a firefight broke out about 1:30 this afternoon. Christopher Dorner, the ex-Los Angeles cop accused of those shootings over the last several days, has been hunkered down and barricaded into a cabin. We believe we have aerial shot there near that cabin. Just within the last few minutes, we have reports of fire and smoke coming from that cabin. Of course, they have not received any confirmed reports from the police department about what was going on, but we understand that the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department, which is the lead agency on this investigation, is currently having a press conference. We're going to get you in and listen there live here for just a minute.
Law enforcement, as I said, law enforcement is one big family. They take care of each other. LAPD is, yes, here, of course. They're being surrounded by law enforcement.
What about at the scene in Big Bear? Is LAPD involved in that?
Yes, LAPD, along with surrounding cities, is also a part of the incident on Highway 38.
Can you tell us the age of the deputies?
There will be no information released at this time regarding the deputies.
Is that because all family has not been notified yet?
That's because we're not releasing any information at this time about about the deputies.
In terms of protocol.
Okay, thank you guys for
Have you called this? We've heard 15 people have been injured. Okay, and that was an update from San
Listening there to the San Bernardino press conference there going on of the sheriff's deputies. Here is the latest. There were 2 officers, 2 sheriff's deputies from San Bernardino County involved in a firefight with Christopher Dorner earlier this afternoon. Those 2 were wounded and actually were stuck in the wilderness for about an hour in this mountain range that you're looking at here before they were finally around 2:30 this afternoon able to be medevaced out of the area. Now, we have since learned One of those deputies from the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department did die of his injuries at the Loma Linda Medical Center. We understand a second deputy who was also hit and wounded is still there recovering, although we do not have a confirmed report on his current condition. Of course, that shooting happened around 1:30 this afternoon. This whole situation got going shortly after 12:30 this afternoon when Christopher Dorner was actually cited by a Fish and Game official as well as a person who he had actually kidnapped and tied up in a local cabin there that escaped and called law enforcement to make them aware of his location. Now, shortly before 1:30, Dorner was actually spotted driving a pickup truck there, and a firefight ensued in the area. There is where the two San Bernardino Sheriff's deputies were once again shot and wounded, and just confirmation coming in to the Eyewitness Newsroom here just within the last few minutes that it has been confirmed one of the deputies that was hit and wounded by Christopher Dorner is indeed dead here. The SWAT, we are getting reports as we speak here, the SWAT has entered the cabin. We had a report just a few minutes ago that there was some fire and smoke coming up from the cabin. Also receiving reports from our sister station in Los Angeles that tear gas was being used in the vicinity of that cabin that Christopher Dorner had been barricaded into since about 2:30 this afternoon after he crashed a truck just behind that cabin in a ravine. He had actually been barricaded in there, and some gunfire had taken place about 2:30 or so just after that. Once again, moments ago, we received reports that the SWAT team has entered into the cabin. We are awaiting the results of what has happened. It remains to be seen if he's going to be brought out alive or obviously deceased here. A very sensitive situation there. And what you're seeing is aerial shots of the San Bernardino County mountains. The reason you're not seeing the exact cabin is because of the fact that law enforcement has asked media helicopters not to show any specific positions of where the officers are located. They do not want to tip their hand to what is believed to be Christopher Dorner. I do want to stress it has not been confirmed that Christopher Dorner has been identified. However, the witnesses in the area do believe that it was him, including the man that he carjacked and stole a Dodge pickup truck from earlier this afternoon. Now, the SWAT team has sent several vehicles up just before 4 o'clock. We noticed on live pictures that they were sending several SWAT vehicles into the area. And then just at 4:15, just after 4:15, we did get to the reports that they were going in. Of course, stay with us for the latest. We will have continuing coverage on our website, bakersfieldnow.com, and once again tonight at 5 o'clock.